Hi everyone and welcome back to another edition of the top 10 hottest selling cards in Magic the Gathering from June 21st to 28th of 2024, and some of the sales this week are going to be a little bit different as the numbers of new cards and spoilers are causing the market to react and speculators to jump on in. Let's take a look. Well, here we are again, guys. mtgmoxman here, and thanks again for hanging out with me on the channel today. A reminder that if you enjoyed today's content, you'd like hanging out with the Moxman, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, turn on your notification bell. I got new videos every single day. Now, you can also support me on TCG Player by using my TCG Player affiliate link found in the description of this video. Let's jump to number 10 this week. Conspiracy from Arcane Mask takes the number 10 position this week. This enchantment costs 2 black, 3 generic, and of course 628 sales this week does not represent a large market share, $4,640.92 of total sales volume, but the fact this card's made the list is a little bit interesting. Now let's take a closer look at this card so you can kind of understand what I mean when I say this card is interesting. It is an enchantment, and it says, as Conspiracy comes into play, choose a creature type. Creature cards you own that aren't in play, creature spells you control, and creatures you control are the chosen type. This is a very interesting card because it works very well with the 3-tree. And of course, that's coming up into BloomBurrow. That has got a lot of attention from players, and that means speculators are hopping into the market to scoop up copies as quick as possible. Our number 9 card this week is Arcane Adaptation, and that comes to us from Ixalan. Now this card is a 1 blue, 2 generic, and of course as another enchantment card, it follows along the 3-tree. And this means speculators are taking the opportunity to scoop up copies, and they got them really cheap. Even in the rising market and the number of sales at 798, not a huge number, but not that many copies are probably sitting around without players having to scrummage through their bulk bins to see if this card's actually worth anything. But you might find some players doing it soon. So Arcane Adaptation enters the battlefield, choose a creature type. Creatures you control are the chosen type in addition to other types. The same is true for creature spells you control and creature cards you own that aren't on the battlefield. A very interesting card, follows along with Conspiracy and fits with the 3-tree. Guys, this is the kind of stuff that when you catch it now, you can keep an eye on it and make sure you know where your backdrop is for your market and why you wonder why cards are going up. Now let's go ahead and take a look at our number 8 card this week, and this is Trinisphere, Double Masters Edition. Now, Trinisphere as a card was really cheap for quite a while, guys. So this kind of uptick on the market, you have to look at what's going on with the card. 826 sales this week, which represents $36,757. Average price is $44.50, but look where it was and look where it is now. And you have to ask yourself, is the market going to sustain this level? It's an artifact that says as long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast now costs 3 mana to cast. Additional mana in the cast may be paid with any color of mana or colorless mana. For example, a spell that would cost 1 black, 1 generic to cast, it could be 2 generic, 1 black to cast instead. Very interesting, guys. This kind of card and what we're seeing in the market space lets you know that players are getting primed, and again, speculators are jumping in. Let me know if you guys have been buying cards like this, because I am kind of curious to see if you're buying at the high or you're going to wait for it to drop back down. Now, COSX Unsealing has been on the list for the last while. The Unsealing card doesn't have a lot of value in terms of dollar amount, but it is getting a lot of notice in what it can do for a deck. 970 sales this week. That's only $1,455 to buy this card. Now, the Unsealing is an enchantment for 1 blue and 2 generic. It does have Devoid. So why are we seeing so many copies still selling weeks after the release? Well, this card does say whenever you cast a creature spell with mana 4, 5, or 6, create 2 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn tokens that you can sacrifice for colorless mana. Whenever you cast a creature spell with mana 7 or greater, draw 3 cards. It's actually a pretty good card, guys. The fact you can pick this up for $1.50, I would recommend everyone buy at least 4 so you never have to worry about this card again, and you got it all locked up for around $6. That's a pretty good investment on future deck construction that's not going to break the bank. Great card, cheap price. I can see why people are buying it. Now, Our next card is Lord of the Unreal. Okay. This card hasn't had a reprint. 1,032 sales, $18,837 of sales volume. Now there's something I got to talk about here. This card comes in at $6.99, but that's after a whole bunch of copies got bought. A lot of these copies were going for like $1. So that value of 18,000, I have to admit to you guys that that's the volume if it was a near mint copy right now today. But in the case of this card, a lot of copies, hundreds of copies, got picked up for $1 and from bulk bins. This card says, illusion creatures you control get +1/+1 and have hexproof. Why do you think people are looking at illusion creatures? Well, just go ahead and take a look at what's going on in DuskMourn. Yeah, you get a good indicator where people are going. Speculators are out in droves, and players with an appetite for new deck construction are buying these cards. Our number 5 card this week is COSX Command, which is 2 waste plus X. 1,092 sales this week, $14,720.16 of total sales volume. Now, this card comes in at $13.48. It trended lower than this before. It might go back down, but this card still offers a lot of bang for its buck. So let's take a closer look at this Kindred Instant Eldrazi to let you know what's going on with this card. It does say choose 2. Now, target player creates X01 colorless Eldrazi tokens that have sacrificed this creature to add waste to your mana pool. Target player scries X and then draws a card. Exile target creature with X mana or less. And of course, exile up to X target cards from graveyard. This offers a lot for mid-game. It's a great price. I can see why players are jumping on it, but I do think it's a little bit high right now. Our next card is Desperate Ritual. Now, this is the Kamigawa version. 1,130 sales. That's $5,706.50. 1 red, 1 generic, instant arcane. Add 3 to your mana pool. Splice into arcane. Now, a card like this and the fact it's coming back around again shouldn't really come as a surprise. It's 3 for 2. There's lots of ways of using this. It also counts as an instant. There's a reason why you want to have this card out there. Because this card works perfectly with Storm, and people out there are getting ready to build these Storm decks, work with Ral, and make things happen. As soon as Ral got spoiled in BloomBurrow, players looked at his ability, his ultimate, and they started looking for ways to make it happen. And this is one of those cards that's being bought up. We saw a massive spike in the price, and I actually think the sales on this are going to continue well into next week. But of course, we'll tune in next week and we'll see what's going to happen. Let's take a look at our next card, and again, remember, guys, some weird cards on the list this week, and this is Wish, Adventures in Forgotten Realms. This is a 1 red, 2 generic. This card was like $1, and now it's $9.03. It shot up huge, $12,696.18. This one was on the falling knife. It started low, but as people bought it, the price was rising. People were still buying the card. Keep that in mind. This card is still selling at the time of filming, about 10 or 12 copies every few hours. So there's a lot going on with this Dungeons & Dragons card. Let's take a look, okay? Now, this card is a sorcerer. It says you may play a card you own from outside the game. Now, I understand for sideboarding and stuff, not the good old days of the Ring-a-Maroof if you're on the reserve list, but the fact this lets you go and get a card is amazing. Don't forget, this thing will work with all kinds of crazy things in Storm, and you got to pay attention to that. Now, our next card. This is Fel the Profane from Modern Horizons 3. This has been on the list for a while, actually, popping in and out. 1,847 sales. Nowhere near the volumes we saw the last couple of weeks, but $5,000 in total sales volume because it's only a $2.75 card. It does say destroy target creature or planeswalker, but I like the flip ability and the land mana ability if you don't need this card. For 2 black, 2 generic, I get it. It's not a bad guy, but it's not a great guy. It's the instant speed which can really save you, and some people may be looking toward that, but I think it's the alternate effect of being able to pick and choose, which give the card greater versatility, okay? When you look at this and say, what else am I going to do with this card? How am I going to make it work for me? Is it going to work this way, or am I going to need it as a land? As the Fel miners the battlefield, you pay 3 life or it comes into play tapped. Again, depending if you need that mana, you get to make the choice. An amazing card, great versatility, and very inexpensive. Now we've taken our time and we're back to number 1, which is Urza's Cave Modern Horizons 3. This card's down to $3.09, but even then it still comes in at 2,612 sales. That's only $8,071 of total sales volume. So the Urza's Cave card is still being sought after, But again, we've lost the luster on Modern Horizons 3 already, and a lot of cards are diving into the market. So that means some prices may fall for Modern Horizons 3 if there's no interest in the cards, as players get ready for all the new sets coming up in the next few months. Now, Urza's Cave does say, add 1 waste to your mana pool, or 3 and sacrifice it. Search your library for a land card. Put it onto the battlefield tapped, then shuffle. This card is disgustingly powerful when used in the right deck, and I still think it has potential future play later on. It's a card to pay attention to as an uncommon, and I think Wizards knew what they were doing when they created this card. An amazing card, an amazing top 10, and there you have it. A video like today shows you just how crazy the world of Magic the Gathering can be. Modern Horizons 3 has just been released, and already because of those spoilers, players are already looking forward, and they want to see what's going to happen with BloomBurrow, and they want to see what's going to happen with DuskMourn. This is one of those moments when you realize the hype train really can work. Good marketing with some leaks in the wrong places, and before you know it, players have so much FOMO going, it's insane. And the flip side of this is those speculators in the market get to take full advantage. They get the inside track when they see the motif, the backdrop of what's kind of going on in these sets. When they see those kind of synergies, they will start looking for them and buying them up as quick as humanly possible, hoping to flip some free tendies. And of course, most players out there, when they're building a deck, they don't really care about a $10 build. They don't care that a card went from $1 to $10. But let's face it, over thousands of times and thousands of transactions, somebody's making a lot of money, or groups of people are making a lot of money because the card shot up in value. Even if it's only for a brief amount of time, a lot of these sales are going to fall back down over the course of 2 years. Sure, they'll go back from a $10 card or a $9 card all the way back to $1 or $2. But at the same time, in between that area, sales happened, money got made, and players got to build the decks they wanted to build. But that inside track made sure it leaned one way for those guys out there, because they got in there before you did and bought hundreds of copies. But overall, when you see the market drop like this, not in terms of popularity, but just the sheer sales volumes, it's because now players are spent on what they did for Modern Horizons 3. They see the new cards coming up, and they are now waiting and being... They're in the building mode. Like, I need some cash for the next set. I've got to build up to the next amazing BloomBurrow, DuskMourn. I've got to get ready. And that's where we find the market right now. And this is the way the market's going to stay for the next couple of weeks until we finally hit BloomBurrow. I still don't think good things for Assassin's Creed. As much as I like the cards I've seen, I just don't think it's going to play out well. Thanks again for hanging out. Drop some comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think is going on out there. And I look forward to seeing you guys for the Reserve List Top 10 video tomorrow. And of course, the live stream, where horrible things are likely to happen to me. Long weekends. Guys, have a great day. I'll see you tomorrow. Shop smart, shop smart. A big shout out and thank you to all the viewers out there on this channel who tune in every day. Give these videos some thumbs up and join that comment section. But of course, what would a video be without your patrons? Without the supporters of this channel who make sure daily content happens every single day. So thanks again to my Patreon supporters, my YouTube membership members. You guys make it happen each and every day. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. And hey, catch me on the live stream. Welcome back to the Ramble Jamble. You've made it. You're in the show. Guys, this is one of those moments that I love when this happens at Magic. There's nothing wrong with Modern Horizons 3. Other than the price point, the cards are great. But players saw those spoilers, and they've just jumped ship. And it's bad. It's really bad. BloomBurrow pre-orders go up. Modern Horizons sales go down to nothing. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out in the next couple of weeks, but come on. Really? Do I want to spend that much on Modern Horizons 3? Or just buy a couple of the singles and get myself some BloomBurrow? Get myself some DuskMourn, which is looking really good too, by the way. Very interesting. Very interesting. Guys, have a great one. And I'll see you guys in the live stream.